Well, hello everyone. Well, inside of the topic of changing teenage behavior, getting your teen to act a little differently, one of the most common questions that I get is how do I get my teenager to open up and talk more? Well, today I got an idea for you, and actually this one's kind of fun, so you definitely want to check it out, but a new idea for a way to connect with your teen and get them to open up a little bit. So let's dive into it. So today we're going to talk about an idea or a strategy for getting your teenager to open up and talk a little bit more. But the foundation of this is really just building connection with your teen, and that's where you're going to develop that trust so they will be more comfortable in opening up. Before we dive in, though, I did want to mention that I produce regular content, so be sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you could like these videos as well, that's awesome, because that's a way for me to rank higher and for more people to be able to see these videos, and helps to build this channel. So again, if you could do those two things, that would be awesome. And then one other thing I wanted to mention before we dive in is that I have a free resource for you. What this is, I have 10 questions to never ask your teenager. Think of these as like conversation killers. And then on the flip side of that is I have 10 great questions. These are conversation starters. So you'll find a link below. You can just click on that link and we'll shoot you a download with those questions. So on to this idea for today, a way to build connection. The big picture fundamental premise here is that you want to find a creative way to enter into and engage with your teenager inside of their world or something that they enjoy or that's an important part of their life. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Let's say you have a teenage son that likes to play video games, which is pretty common, right? You would think that's most of them do. Well, a second piece to this is that a lot of times teenagers, and I would encourage you to think about this with other ideas, is that if you can find a way to engage late at night, because teenagers tend to open up a little bit more, their guard is down late at night. So here's the example with the teenage son that likes to play video games. What you do next Friday or Saturday night, you go to bed at your regular time, but you set an alarm to wake up at say 12:30 a.m. When the alarm goes off, you get up, you make your way downstairs, and more than likely your teenage son's going to be sitting there in the family room playing the video games. So what you do is you plop down beside and you say, you know what, I can't sleep. And then you ask a question, something like, well, who's winning? And then you just sit. And again, this is important to be quiet and let him respond. He may not say a whole lot, and that's fine. Just be present, be with him. And again, you're kind of inside his world at this point, right? So sit there for a little bit. Maybe there's no conversation. 5 minutes go by. You say, you know what? I'm going to make myself a snack. Do you want anything? Make that offer. He may or may not respond. He may say, no, that's all right. Or maybe he does want something. So you go, you make your snack. You come back then, plop down. If you're just having one, you start to, eat whatever you put together. And again, you just sit and present and again, inside of his world for a little bit. After a while, maybe you then ask a curiosity question, something like, well, how did you learn how to do all this? It just seems so complicated. And again, step back, let them answer. You may get a one-word answer, or they may start to describe and tell you a little bit more about it. If you feel a little bit of engagement, you could even say something, well, can you teach me how to do some of this? Again, your goal is to enter their world and build connection inside of something that's important to them. Can you see where this is going? You're building that connection, which is going to make them comfortable to open up and talk more. And in some cases, I've had some of the parents that I work with have a conversation like this, and then all of a sudden their teenager will open up and start to tell them about something that's going on at school that they just out of the blue. Again, late at night, guards down, they may open up a little bit. So you're just sort of creating that opportunity for that to happen. But equally, and then maybe even more important, you're building that connection and building that trust that you will be there and available to them. You're just being available, right? Now, another thing that's real important here is you don't want to pass judgment or indicate that you disapprove of something that's going on, because again, that breaks down that connection. An example might be, why do you play these games all night? I mean, that can be taken as a judgment on what the teen's doing, and that again, that'll break down that communication. So anyway, be present, be there. And again, not a whole lot may be exchanged, but even if it doesn't, you've gone to build and develop that connection, or you may have a nice conversation. After a little while, seems like some time's passed, you can just say, you know what, I'm going to try to go back to sleep, head back upstairs, and you've engaged in their world. So you can see how this is a creative way to sort of step in and build that connection with your teenager. So what you might want to think about is, what are some creative ways you could do that with your teen? Whether it's a daughter or son, maybe they have other interests, something else that you can engage with or connect with them on. So anyway, the idea is to, again, build in and try to find a way to engage with them on their level inside of their world. And I think you might find that it really does help to build that trust and connection, which will allow them to open up. It's an ongoing process, but you're building and developing and deepening that connection. So anyway, hope you found some value in that. Remember, we've got those 10 questions for you. That link below is 10 questions to never ask your teen. Those are the conversation killers, along with the 10 questions, the great questions, the ones that are conversation starters. So be sure to check that out as well. I think you'll find a lot of value. And really, you start using these questions and you might find you can have a real different, engaging conversation with your teen by tomorrow, for example. So anyway, it is truly an honor to be here. And I would like to thank you for making the effort and being intentional about trying to be a better parent. I mean, it really is an important role that we play with our teenagers, and if they don't say thank you, which they probably won't, I just want to say thank you anyway, because it really is important for us to engage and try to really develop our parenting skills so that we can be a better parent. So thanks again for making that effort, and it's truly an honor to be here and help to serve you as you move along your parenting journey. So until next time, remember, a change in perspective changes everything.